Hello and welcome back to the future reign. My name is Justin. I am your watcher for the evening. I am very excited to be back. This is our... Oh god, is this our 9th episode, you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, episode 9? Wild. If you're new to Ghostlight, welcome. And if you aren't, welcome back. We're very glad that you're here. I feel like these might be a little loud. I'm going to turn that down just a little bit. It's loud in my ears. That's how I know. That's how I know it should be turned down.
Tell us in the chat if we're loud as hell.
Yeah. Welcome back to Ghostlight RPGs. This is Future Reign. We play Marvel Heroic Roleplaying, which was designed by Cam Banks, and we have upgraded it in a little bit of a homebrew fashion to Cortex Prime, which was also designed by Cam Banks. So, AKA, we love Cam Banks here. So
bit of a Cam Banks fan channel.
Again, pass it on, guys. Pass it. Let him know. If this is the first time you're watching this, you can check out our past episodes on our YouTube channel. Because like I said, this is episode 9, so there are 8 other ones. That's not saying you shouldn't just hang out now and watch this one, and just go back and watch the others later, Light spoilers. It's fine. I'll catch you up, don't worry. Speaking of spoilers, nobody tell me what happened on last night's stream of Spire, because I didn't watch it live, and I need to watch it soon. So, if you aren't watching Spire, Graham, talk about it for us.
Yeah, hi. Spire, You Will Be Ashes is our stream using the game Spire, The City Must Fall, which is a role-playing game about being dark elves in a city and being oppressed and needing to kind of burn the system down. It's a really cool kind of subversive game about rebellion and responses to oppression, and also like having scores and projects to do something about it. So that's pretty cool. That is on Mondays at 7:30 Central Time. So, and I know that some of you have been watching because
it's intense, y'all, and I do like it. I've only watched the first episode, which was like a series of prologues.
I would say the second session was a little less intense because it wasn't like watching us all get radicalized. Sure. It was more of like bumbling crew trying to do a job. But yeah, it's definitely like, I think the intent is that it's going in dark places. Yeah.
Dark places. We like them. What's in there? Find out. Mondays. I ate a Twizzler at the wrong time. I don't know why I did that.
I was wondering.
It made me want it so bad, though. It looks delicious.
How dare you, as the DM, try to eat something?
You know better.
I'm
the
better. Worst about that. I'm the worst. That's why I literally don't let myself have food up here when we're streaming, and I, for some reason, brought Twizzlers up. I don't know why I did that. Anyway.
Past Justin is out to get you.
For this series, we will be using Ko-fi as a format for tipping, which we appreciate. If you feel like giving us a little love, we appreciate it. That's in the chat now. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking and eat the rest of my Twizzler. I'm gonna let everybody else talk for a second. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Give me your name, your character name, and also, why don't you tell us what your character's guilty pleasure is? Guilty pleasure, everybody. Anybody can start. Anybody got one? I don't want to put anybody on the spot here.
I'm gonna Elise to go first.
Hell, I'll go. Oh yeah, Elise, go first.
Elise is going.
All right, so I think that it's such an obvious answer, but I feel like since Natasha went through such a tough childhood and like such a regimented training her whole entire life, I feel like her guilty pleasure would probably something as simple as like a really fluffy donut or something that she just was not allowed to ever have, that she can just kind of, take solace in every once in a while. That's what I think.
Both heartbreaking and so touching. I love that answer. Did you say your name?
Oh yeah, wait, I didn't. My name is Elise. My name is Elise, and I'm playing Natasha / Black Widow, and my pronouns are she, her. And then I will pass it on down to Graham.
Hello, I'm Graham Ward. My pronouns are he, him. And I am playing Bruce Banner, whose icon is the Hulk, but it's a little out of date because he's been cured. He used some strange genetic, what's the word I'm thinking of? Genetic, like,
Anomaly?
devices that he found
Oh, okay.
amongst, was it Mr. Sinister's gear?
Yeah.
To cure his Hulk affliction, put like a semi-permanent genetic dampener on himself. And now he's got the Mandarin's rings, and I think his guilty pleasure is, I mean, you know, I don't know. This isn't necessarily canon, but I think he's doing a little like Pippin with the Palantir. Like, he's just kind of messing around with the rings every chance he gets. And so they've like become his power set.
Yeah.
You know,
Sitting in
and
the
he's
corner
like-
going, my precious, or what? Like,
No, not that he's like, not that he's being corrupted, but I think he's just like the scientist who suddenly has a matter manipulator.
Oh, yeah.
What
Okay.
scientist would
Yeah.
not sit there and being like, ooh, could I cure cancer? Could I, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah.
Yeah.
oh god, a kid
Absolutely.
at Christmas.
Wow. It's wild to think like Mandarin could have done all of those things.
Yeah, so much wasted
Never
opportunity.
did.
Yeah.
Not a very creative guy. Yeah.
Yeah. All
Just
flash, no
world
bang.
domination. Okay, I will pass it to Kelsey.
I'm Kelsey. I'm Kelsey. She, they. I'm playing Johnny Storm. Yeah, just friends hanging out is going to be my motto for this evening's game. But no, Johnny Storm's guilty pleasure is Dippin' Dots. He always got them at like theme parks and games with his dad, and it was always the special treat that he was allowed to get. And he likes to take the bowl of them, the little dish, and go and press his lips on it, and so that they're like all over his lips and just like this. That's his guilty pleasure. Hollis?
Hello. Thank you, Kelsey. My name is Hollis Wilhoit. He, him, his. I'm playing Matt Murdock, whose superhero name is Daredevil. And Matt Murdock, known Catholic. I think his guilty pleasure is pagan literature.
Obsessed.
Bad boy.
I mean,
Hail Marys.
he reads Norse sagas or what?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And
Yeah.
the church
He's
would not approve.
He's very, very into Wicca. Like, I think that's like the thing he would never, ever tell anyone.
Ever.
Amazing.
Cool.
I imagine
I'm
he
gonna...
probably likes the ritual of it.
Well, right. No, it's that ceremonial. Yeah,
I imagine that'd be something he would like.
for sure. Hey, Becca, I'm gonna.
Oh gosh, thanks. Hi, I am Rebecca Munoz, she, her, and I am playing Rogue. And guilty pleasure. She, her? Did I say that? Guilty pleasure. I think for Rogue, it would be like there seems to be a theme with everybody, and I think hers is also food, but I think her guilty pleasure is like fine dining or like cooking like full-on meals. And I think for her, it's kind of like they get done like when they're not training or they're off on a mission, either in space or in wherever, there's a lot of stress, and I think that's kind of her thing. Her de-stressor is cooking big elaborate meals and then just gorging and then taking a nap afterwards. Like, I think that's kind of her way of processing that sort of stuff. And then it's the house, everybody's there, everybody comes in and either helps or just eats, and so I think it's a good bonding thing too. So I think that's hers. But I imagine like the prices, the receipt is very long and expensive, so because she's like, no, you got to use the right ingredients, and so but
I'm
yeah.
hungry now.
Justin, what's your character's guilty pleasure?
Yeah, what does the watcher do?
Hi, I'm Justin
Watching.
Barron. Pronouns are he, him. I'm the watcher, aka everything and everybody else in the stream. My guilty, well, okay, I'll tell you the watcher's guilty pleasure is probably helping people. Because he's not supposed to. Interfering in the affairs of mankind.
Just a nudge in the right direction.
But Justin's guilty pleasure is J-Lo movies.
Yes.
I love me a good Jennifer Lopez movie. I know that they're not supposed to be good, but they really are. Like Shotgun Wedding, you guys, is so freaking funny.
I haven't seen it yet. It looks good though.
That's something
No,
about
it
J-Lo.
looked- it
is that
looked
she's got
good.
a flawless like sense of humor,
Mm-hmm.
is charismatic as hell. So
And yeah, and just so talented all over the place.
There are very few movie trailers where I see the trailer and I'm like, hey, Bethany, that's my wife. You gotta come over here and watch this trailer. And I did that. We watched it like 3 times.
I always feel like
In a row?
in almost every J-Lo movie, she always ends up in a wedding dress. And normally
Yes.
I would like judge someone for that, but I'm like, she always looks so
She
good in
just
the
looks
wedding
better
dresses
and
that I'm
better
like,
as she
I
ages.
don't
It's
care.
amazing.
I'm like, what dress is she wearing?
Okay.
Like, that's my thing.
Phenomenal. Yes, chat agrees on the J-Lo. J to the L to the O. Thank you. Okay, so let's talk about some more letters of the alphabet. Like, how about the letter R? Because that's what this... That's what this
Nice.
stream is rated. If I get too close, I get really washed out, so I can't do that. I need to turn my light down. Hang on. Everybody just talk amongst yourselves for a second. That's gonna
How
bother
about
me.
some other letters? Like R.
How about some other letters like R? Okay.
Oh my
that's better.
god, that's we have found Graham's humor.
Oh no, Kelsey's gone. Kelsey every now and then likes to just flame on out of here. But she'll
Too
come
hot
back.
for this feed.
She'll come back, don't worry. Anyway, as I was saying, this content is rated R, so beware. We have adult situations, strong language, graphic violence, elements of horror and despair, and we like to use to keep ourselves happy and safe. We have little color cards of different kinds, and we basically use those as safety tools. If you want to learn how to do that, come ask me in our Discord, which I just dropped in the chat. I'd be happy to tell you. I'm gonna see if Kelsey texts me if like she's hopping back in soon or something. Hang on a second.
I thought he was saying, and if you want to understand, if you want to learn more about this, come at me.
Come at me,
bro. You gotta fight me for the information, but I'll give it to you.
Okay, well now we've got to the part of the stream. It's a weekly part
where'd
of
I
each stream now, where Rebecca and Graham pop off real quick, and I'm just gonna keep stalling until you come back. You know what I should do is I should put myself. I should have a what do you call it? An overlay where it's just my face. That way, when this happens, I can just cut to me, and then I'll just talk a lot. You know.
Yeah. The watcher.
That'd be helpful. Okay,
That's
I'm
smart.
just gonna give her like 30 seconds, and then if she can't come back by then, we'll just keep going forward. So let's just keep talking. Thank you, chat.
Just keep swimming.
What are some other guilty pleasures or J-Lo movies? Either one. What do we want to talk about?
Has anyone in here seen Enough?
Enough. I don't think so.
Pretty good. Her fighting in it is outstanding.
That's not the
Ooh.
one where she is like getting abused,
Yeah.
and then she like learns to stand up. It is.
Yeah, it is
so
a messed
good.
up like first third.
It is, but like it's so satisfying watching her. Like spoilers for the movie Enough, guys, but just so you know, it's really good because she comes back and she just kicks a bunch of ass, and it's so good. Okay, we're good. Graham, come back.
You're good. I'm good.
You're good now. I won't.
I will
spoil the
not
movie.
have J-Lo movies from what is it, 2008?
Yes.
So what's everybody's guilty pleasure? Justin shared his. What's yours? His personal. So
Like my personal guilty pleasure?
yeah, you shared your personal. So
Mine is
oh, thank God she came back. No. Saved by the Kelsey. I'm kidding. Go
I
ahead.
can
Go ahead.
stop.
Go ahead.
I can stop.
Welcome
No,
back, Kelsey.
go,
We'll
share.
do guilty pleasures on another time, because we should jump forward here.
Yeah.
But
Oh, I wanted to know, dude.
we need to get to the
Graham's
content.
is like vanilla ice cream. Like
I'll put it in
I
chat.
love that
That's-
about
I don't
you.
feel
We'll
guilty
share-
about
we'll
vanilla ice
share
cream.
our-
Vanilla ice cream is the greatest thing ever put on the earth.
Sorry, Justin.
we'll share our guilty pleasures in the Discord or in the chat. Either way, I don't care.
Discord. You have to join the Discord, otherwise you
Join the
won't see.
Discord, find out what we're into. Okay. So, deep breath, everybody. Fantastic. Let's talk about what happened last time on Future Reign. After being pulled through a portal into an alternate universe 30 years in the future, our 5 heroes have set out on a journey to claim materials needed to make their way home. Making their way through the wasteland, the team seems to continually make things better everywhere they go. In a world of despair, absent of hope, these 5 heroes are living up to their titles and making a difference. Still, their ultimate goal of getting back home is far from complete. Of the 3 materials needed, they have 1, Pym Particles, they have been promised another, Adamantium, and they are on their way to the last, Vibranium. But, before they make it into the United States of Osborn, our heroes find themselves on a quick pit stop in the Doomwood. A big top tent full of eager guests, ready for a show. What show, you ask? Why, it's Mysterio's Tales to Astonish, of course. Places, everybody. And that's where we would go to a cool, like, in the, Future Reign, and then we'd come back. Okay, let me just find my notes here. Here we go. So, as you all find seats inside of this big top circus tent, you all are surrounded. I mean, it's packed to the brim on these like bleachers. It's very theater in the round. If you haven't been to a circus, I'll describe it to you. It's a big circle, and there's a little ring in the middle, and that's where all the action happens, right? It's very tall. Quite a large, ceiling to the tent. And just as a reminder, if you're looking at the map here, let's go back to the map here. If we're looking at the map, you're right in the center of the purple section, and by the center, I mean, not the center, the bottom. If you look at where Missouri is, for those of you on the East Coast who don't know where Missouri is, go to where you see Pym's Crossing, and then just go a little southwest of that, and that's where we're sort of at, in like the Branson area of Missouri, okay? And I'm not saying that about the East Coast, like East Coasters are stupid. I'm just saying I recognize that the state that I live in is a flyover state, so
Well, I'm so glad that you used as your point of reference Branson, Missouri. Now I know what we're talking about.
Well, that's why I described where
Branson,
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm joking.
Look,
No, Branson's
I'm not gonna go off on this. Never mind.
place to go, like a destination.
And we're off.
All right, let's move on. So anyway, we have the 5 of you sitting in this tent. Excitement pours in around you as the lights shift down, and we hear a voice.
It's so quiet.
Yeah, it's a silent voice. You hear a voice that says, ladies and gentlemen, I invite you all to remember the days long past. Once, this world stood united, prosperous and bountiful. But then one day, our so-called heroes snapped. And at this moment, you see mist funnels in from all sides as the darkness, the sort of complete darkness that was there now with the mist is sort of glowing in the center of the ring. You watch as the ring itself, not the ring itself, but rather the interior of the ring shifts into a scene, an illusion that everyone around is sort of, oohing and awing at. We see
I'm sorry to interrupt. Johnny's like in the front row with popcorn, like.
Perfect. That's phenomenal. Yes. And
Rogue's next to him.
for the record, I'm going to be talking for a little while here, so do feel free to interrupt with little quips or things like that each of you feel about certain things, reactions you have to certain things. Just throw them out there.
Oh, I'm paying someone to tell me what's going on. They're just whispering in my ear.
Here's the thing.
I'm just kidding. I have to do it once every time.
Yeah, no, it's good. It is a good point though that like the illusions probably wouldn't affect you because you can't see them. But I think that there's still sort of aspects of the performance that gets the point across for the most part. Yeah, let's see.
Or Daredevil just leans over and is like, "This isn't very good."
I fucking hate circuses.
So we see in this illusion civilians walking through Central Park. Then suddenly a monstrous orange rock monster crashes down in front of them. People scream and run for cover, but they're stopped by a wall of flame. They are encased in this area. There's no escape. This wall of fire, as you watch as Johnny, you're eating this popcorn and you look up and see a rather gruesome depiction of yourself. The Human Torch casting fire out in front of him along the open area of Central Park here. The orange rock monster, you realize, is again a gruesome depiction of Ben Grimm, the Thing. People scream, both in the audience and in the illusion. And for the record, I mean, not that I need to tell you guys this, but Mysterio's illusions feel real. And Hollis, Matt even can tell. You don't see the illusion stuff, but you can see there's actually actors that are out here. There's somebody up on sort of not wires, because people have powers in this world, so he's just sort of floating up there. But you can tell that there's sort of like a facade probably put on with the mist, but for the most part, a lot of these things are actors kind of pulling the strings and whatnot. People start to run away from the fire and are stopped as they start to claw their necks and fall to the ground, as making herself seen is the Invisible Woman, and Mr. Fantastic strangles people next to her, lifting them up high and just strangling them, sort of like shaking the air out of them. Essentially, this depiction of the Fantastic Four gets the audience sort of riled up. They are sort of into it, but also like angry about it,
Why would they? Johnny yells out, "Why would they be strangling people? You don't think that he could have come up with something more efficient than strangling?"
And as you
This is
say
dumb.
that,
This is stupid.
as you say that, a huge illusionary fireball just smashes down, and more and more as you see this depiction of yourself burning people like ants high up in the sky. Suddenly the music shifts. Bum, ba-da-ba, ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Not Superman, though. It's not Superman. I realized immediately that was just Superman. But heroic music shifts in, and you see the audience cheer, yeah, clapping as a large, who some of you might recognize as the Blob, bounds in and just like belly flops the thing backward. He goes flying. Blob then like bounds forward and smashes down onto the thing. And just they're exchanging blows. You know, rocks go flying off into the stands. Flame blasts overhead as this depiction of Human Torch shoots down and is met with fire himself. Fire, fighting fire with fire. You see the illusionary depiction of Pyro stepping in, kind of casting up, and finally swinging in on his lengthy tongue, a chivalrous-looking toad
Absolutely not.
lands atop Mr. Fantastic and starts pummeling him. He shoves him sideways, flips around, and just like does a very acrobatic kick on Sue. The crowd is cheering and roaring with applause as the heroes of this story are now victorious. And
Mysterio certainly took some creative liberties.
Boo! This is stupid.
somebody shoves you from behind. Johnny says, "Shut up!"
You shut up.
Johnny.
You hear, before I go on, I just want to say, Hollis, once again, Matt sees through the illusion of this, and you can tell everybody was actors in that, just sort of people, like, ordinary people. Maybe they have some powers, some basic things, or maybe not. But the Blob, Pyro, and Toad seemed very real. They actually looked like they were... I mean, you saw the Blob for all that he was. And you saw Pyro with his sort of gear on, and Toad's long tongue was actually very real. So, it seems like there's a blend of both, real and illusory. The crowd...
Yeah, so like the oppressive nature is coming through then?
Seems like it, yeah.
Cool.
Like I said, the crowd roared with applause as the scene fades to black, and the voice of Mysterio narrates once more. Many were saved that day thanks to outsiders, wrongly persecuted, geniuses, and vigilantes branded as villains by the very people who destroyed this country. Mist rises, swirling around, and creates a scene high up atop Avengers Tower. An argument occurs inside where we see Norman Osborn arguing with a rather drunken and sinister-looking Tony Stark.
Poor bud.
Norman says, and there's like, it's almost like a close-up, like there's like a little scene happening, and again, two actors doing this scene. Norman says, Stark, please, consider what you're doing. The good people of New York City could pay for your arrogance. One small mistake. Ha! Don't you know who I am? I'm the invincible Iron Man, and I don't make mistakes. And then he winks. The audience gasps as Tony pulls a lever, and a massive arc reactor in front of him charges up. Osborn steps back in disgust. What have you done? The people... And he turns around, looking out at the city. The people! I must save as many as I can! Osborn hops on his glider and flies away as Stark realizes his error. There's a look of fear, a look of contentment, sits down, chuckles, grabs a bottle of champagne, pops it open, says, "Oops," and then explosion. Now here, we're going to pause the show because
Oh my god.
Rogue, it's here you're watching this depiction happen, and you're watching, again, Tony Stark is the only one on the stage at the moment. Something bothers you, Rebecca. You watch as this depiction of Tony Stark, when he winks, when he smiles, when he chuckles, when he sits, when he's sad, there's something so familiar about it to you. And you gasp slightly like that. And, Rebecca, we find Rogue in the basement corridors of the Xavier Mansion. You and the X-Men have just gotten back from a mission where the Brotherhood was trying to basically kidnap Senator Kelly. It's kind of one of their old things.
Yeah. Classic.
You are walking down a corridor and find yourself, for some reason, just sort of drifting toward the holding cells, where you know that you have detained some members of the Brotherhood before taking them off to the raft or prison or wherever they're going to go. I don't think you realize you're doing it until you're there. I don't know if Rogue even knows why she came down here, but you find yourself here, sort of looking in to a cell holding Mystique. She looks back at you. She says, come to wish me off? Come to see me off? Wish me well?
I mean, much as a goodbye means to you, I always know you end up crawling back out again. No cell ever holds you long, even these ones.
She stands up, sort of walks over to you. Still a, force barrier between the two of you, an energy barrier. She says, "We're survivors, Rogue. That's what we are. I will come back. And I won't give up. Because it's not in us to do that. We adapt, don't we?" Hey. I know that you chose this path for yourself. But just know it's never too late. And there is a home for you with us. She looks around, sort of gesturing to the other cells, where you see Pyro, Toad, not the Blob, but the other two are sort of sitting in here. She says, "You and I, we're so similar. And I know you can't see that right now, but one day, I know you will." There's a moment of silence there. And she shifts. She uses her power, turning into a figure more wholesome, a figure more motherly, a figure who looks warm and inviting and comforting. And she says, "We could have this. That's all I've ever wanted."
No, Mama. That's not what you always wanted. You don't care about me, you just care about my powers. That's all you've ever wanted. That's how I ended up with Carol Danvers' powers anyway. It's because you told me to hang on too long. And you're right. We are survivors. We evolve, and we learn. You could too, you know. The X-Men are my family now. And they give me something that you could never give me. As long as I have Charles and Jean to help me with these powers, there's no point going back to you. You'll never learn. It's just going to be a never-ending dance of you trying to cause trouble and me putting you back in a cage. If that's the way it's got to be, then that's the way it's got to be, Mama.
She sits down. She sort of drops the act a little bit. She crosses her legs, turns back into her normal self, blue skin. She says, "Well, it was worth a try. Just remember this, Rogue. You can change who you are all you want, but you can't change what's inside of you." And then she winks, gives you a little smile, and your comms, come over, and you hear Cyclops, "Rogue, we've got a situation. Something's happening in the Rockies. We need you to fly ahead." And you leave this chamber knowing that you're going to the Rockies, knowing that your life is going to change pretty drastically in that moment, and leave this memory as you are whisked back into the present, or future present,
A relative.
as you shift back into the scene and realize that the person playing Tony Stark in this show is Mystique. There's a feeling in the pit of your stomach as you have that realization, and you feel ill. And for the rest of this performance, as I kind of talk this out, I think Rogue is feeling more and more sick, tense, anxious, and overall weak. And I'm going to go ahead and give you a plot point and just go ahead and right now shut down your Carol Danvers power set.
What? Whoa!
As the scene starts in, the mist goes swirling around a bit. There's a silence across the tent. And with the exception of a few sobs and sniffles from the scene that just happened, you can look around and see just how much people have bought into this, have believed the illusion, if you will. And Mysterio strikes up once more. "Yes, my friends, we shall grieve for the millions lost that day. Nothing we can do can bring them back. But let's dry those eyes, for now comes our grand finale. You see, nope, that's still in Mysterio writing. You see, although many good lives were lost, it could have been much worse. The super-powered criminals who fooled us all for so many years wouldn't give up without a fight. And once more, the so-called villains that society had cast out stood against them one final time to save our lives and our hopes for a brighter tomorrow. And streaks of lightning shoot across the tent, making people all around you just jump up in sort of surprise. Descending from the top of the tent, lightning shooting off of him, you see the God of Thunder swinging his ferocious and bloody hammer left and right, until finally it strikes down and hits a large beam of metal, as you see rising up from, like, arguably beneath the stage, but really just because of the mist. You see the Master of Magnetism, Magneto, holding back Mjolnir's power, pushing against it with his own metal beam, essentially. To be clear, he's not controlling Mjolnir, he is simply pushing against it. Wanted to make sure that was clear.
He's worthy, I knew it.
The scene shifts. We follow the mist as it goes dramatically lower into a battlefield beneath the fight in the sky, where we see dozens and dozens of actors, rather Hollis, Matt sees dozens of actors run onto the stage and take up their places as the illusion catches up, and we see the following things. A roided out, really like jock bro, like, you know, gross neck, like, no offense to bodybuilders, I'm not trying to put that down, I just mean that he looks incredibly
grotesquely
grotesquely strong, muscular, Captain America, swinging his shield and just like decapitating people. You see a vicious looking Black Widow who swings in, lands, and then shocks Kraven the Hunter, who is like sort of nobly protecting civilians behind him. Matt, you feel tense fists from Danny next to you as you see, or the rest of you I suppose see, Luke Cage bounding onto the scene, and he is just beating Ulysses Claw to a pulp. Spider-Man swings on, and then webs up a very patriotic looking Baron Zemo before launching at him, catching on, and then ripping into his neck with his teeth and sucking blood out of Baron Zemo, causing the crowd to scream in terror.
Like this.
Just like you are. Then,
oh my god.
Finally, as people are screaming and can't take any more, once again that music sort of dramatically shifts. Bum bum ba-da-dum, bum bum ba-da-dum, bum bum ba-da-dum, and the lights shift as you see the cavalry arrive. Norman Osborn on his glider pointing forth, followed by the Crimson Cannonball, Juggernaut, who runs and just barrels into Captain America before he has the chance to kill yet another innocent bystander. Lionheart, Sabretooth, leaps in, taking Black Widow and chucking her into the air. Sergeant Victory, which is Taskmaster, bests Luke Cage, and Osborn himself snatches up Spider-Man, drags him through the air in a rather weird paradox of an iconic image, as Spider-Man is kind of tied up kicking and hissing. They fly. The glider flies higher and higher and higher until we get to once more see Magneto as he blocks these lightning blasts from Thor until finally swinging around, summoning all his might, shoves metal rod through Thor. Another one, another one, another one, and another, and another, and another. And people around you are dead silent as we see Thor drop Mjolnir, and we follow it down the mist, down through the sky, through the lightning that is seemingly dissipating as the Mjolnir falls, until it crashes and lands among dead allies, dead friends. Some of you even see yourselves dead on this field. Mjolnir crackles with lightning until finally it too falls silent. Triumphant music sounds across the tent as people stand and cheer.
I'm gonna be sick.
The crowd is on its feet, but then hushes instantly. It's hard for most of you to see, again, to realize, not just see, sorry, Matt, what's going on.
Oh, buddy. No. I'm so sorry. I started this whole thing.
No,
Keep going.
it happens every time. It's okay. It's hard for most of you to see what everybody else is looking at, because everybody around you is sort of, oh, look, down there. As a single spotlight, the mist sort of shifts and a spotlight focuses on one person who has come out from backstage. Boos begin to drown out the talking and the oohs and ahs of the moment. The actors playing Osborn and Magneto and the rest are all sort of gathered around, still looking triumphantly victorious in this moment over the dead heroes beneath them. And Mysterio's voice calls out, "And there came a day unlike any other, when the world's most powerful heroes united as one to take back all that is right and good within each of us. They stood triumphant that day and evermore, watching as the last low-life criminal laid down their weapon to declare," and there's like this sort of cliffhanger of a sentence as the audience goes quiet and kind of pushing through. You can finally see what everyone else is looking at. You watch in the center of the ring an old and weary Clint Barton wearing his classic purple costume falls to his knees, drops a very cheap-looking prop bow, and very drunkenly states, "You win." The crowd erupts in applause as the scene shifts. And now we see, for the first time, Mysterio himself in all his glory, looking exactly like he did the day you last saw him, with the fishbowl and everything, descends through the mist. Everyone's still applauding. You can't barely hear him. Hawkeye still on his knees beneath, although the rest of the scene has sort of gone away. But the mist is still there, sort of low on the ground, as it just sort of reminds you of the power Mysterio holds. Mysterio announces to everyone, Thank you all for coming. This show was brought to you by President Osborn. He wants you all to remember who is fighting for your future. Don't forget to pay your taxes. Have an astonishing night." Fireworks go off. Fireworks go off inside the tent as people cheering. Oh my gosh, did you see? Oh, that was so cool. Walking out, kids up on shoulders of their parents. It is a scene to behold as you all are left sitting in the stands, essentially. Mysterio has cleared out the rest of the show. The mist dissipates, and I think we just find the six of you. Danny is with you in the bleachers of this show.
What's Danny's response, seeing her dad get killed and shit?
Danny's hands are clenched, but she's not crying. She's not. She just, like, it's almost as if she was maybe raised on
With this.
Knowing that this was. It's clear that she has not seen this show, and she has not witnessed the image of her father, like, dying. But it's pretty apparent that, this version of history is definitely something she already knew about.
Okay.
I think Rogue is going to. She just stands up and starts walking through the crowd, trying to make her way backstage.
Rogue, yeah, you stand up, start walking. You kind of step off the bleachers and out across the floor, and you stumble, kind of falling to the ground.
Shoot.
The rest of you watch as Rogue seems to sink into the ground and vanish. Rogue, you're freaking out.
Yeah.
And immediately find yourself in a dense, packed world around you. And instinctively, fearing this, you tense up, and the rest of you watch as, because right as she went down, she immediately bursts out of she fell into the ground and then bursted out of it, and you see Rogue, but she is covered in metal plating.
Oh hell!
Shiny metal plating, Rogue, is all around your body. And I think when you realize it's happening, what do you think you do?
I think she is looking at her hands, and she looks at the others and she says, "Oh hell." And I think she's gonna run.
Yeah, you run.
Because she doesn't know what else is gonna come out.
Absolutely.
She needs to put distance.
You start to run, and as the others maybe even try to start to stop you, I think you run and feel yourself start to sort of hover off the ground, as a purple energy sort of lifts your feet off the ground and then just propels you forward as you're out of the tent and you are off on your own for a moment.
Oh, crap.
The rest of you watch this happen.
Well,
This
Justin,
is
I was
so
gonna
embarrassing.
say,
Yeah, what would you do, Kelsea?
I actually was planning on ducking out during the applause.
Okay, yeah,
So I didn't see this, if that's okay.
that's
But
great.
if
That's great.
if that's not, I'm happy to
No.
also do this.
That's absolutely fine. I just sort of threw that out there as but you can totally do your own thing. If you guys would have left earlier or do something else.
Oh
then
yeah,
that's fine
no,
too.
I would have. Was Hawkeye still left on stage? Was he still there at the end?
In the chaos of everybody getting up and moving down, I think maybe you maybe even
Yeah,
climb up the bleacher to see where he goes.
yeah.
But you watch as he fades into the mist and is just disappears essentially.
Okay.
But
Great.
yeah, I'll say this: there is sort of a campground area here where the tents, where there's the big tent, and then there's a series of smaller tents sort of back on their own. It's as if this is a traveling show. Like I mentioned at the end of the last episode, there's large semi trucks that seem to pack. They carry all of this stuff as they drive around the country essentially. So yeah, it looks like there's a place where like you might find answers back here.
Yeah, I think I learned my lesson the last time I tried to go off on my own. And after seeing rogues fly out of the tent, I feel like I should stick around to see what everybody else is going to do about that before I try and find Clint, which is a bummer. It's not what I want to do. My instinct is to go find him, but
I don't know.
I stick around.
It's up to you. If you think it's a good
just a
moment
bummer.
for Widow to like stick around, then do it. But if you're just saying Elise wants to stick around because, you know, I think
No,
split
I do
off,
think
you know?
I think Widow has like this moment of like
Okay.
She's making a conscious decision.
yes.
Yeah. Okay,
and she
great.
stays.
Great.
Yeah.
What about everybody else?
Okay, can I do mine?
Yeah, so Johnny, you
when I-
ducked out.
Yeah, I ducked out. My goal is to find someone smoking,
Okay. Yeah.
and I'm gonna ask them if I can bum a cigarette.
Sweet. Yeah, you do so. There is sort of an older gentleman, who just like kind of recap this. Everybody here, again, this is like the most people you have seen that aren't like packed into Fisk Lake City, and so these people look. I don't want to say like free people but they seem to be like a little more separated, doing their own thing on the land, you know, a little more like cabiny feelings. So anyway, this guy's sort of wearing just like a heavy coat and is smoking a cigarette out by like a post, out by the post where you hitched up your horses, by the way.
Our hitching post.
Your hitching post.
Is there a piece of straw in his mouth?
No,
He's got a
smoking
piece of
cigarette.
straw in his
Smoke?
mouth and a cigarette. He's got both.
How
We-
bold.
And a toothpick in one of the corners.
Yeah. You can't understand a single thing he says when he talks to you.
Um.
God.
Hey man, you mind if I bum one off you?
Yeah, well, these things cost me a fortune, but
Yeah, here's $2.
why not? We're celebrating.
Yeah, fucking celebration, you know?
Fucking celebration. Here you go, bro.
Thanks. Oh, hey mom. And I just get out of there. I don't want to talk to this guy.
Okay, yeah.
Did you literally just want a
Just
cigarette?
wanted the
Yeah,
cigarette.
get this.
There's more to it than that. Can I keep
Oh,
going?
okay.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
going.
So we're in a circus tent. So I want to go to the back area where I can tell the people are, you know, like that work there. My goal is to find Pyro.
Okay.
Ooh.
Mm.
And I'm like leaning back against something, you know,
Sure.
when I see him, and I'm like, hey, you got a light?
Okay, so you find where they're sort of hanging out, like this kind of group of, I mean, carnies. I don't know. They're all sort of like hanging out in the backstage area. A few of them are like giving autographs. Like it makes a difference. Like that guy doesn't look like, you know, Tony Stark. It's just, or Norman Osborn. It's just that, you know, they're like, oh, you're in the show. That's cool. And you see as Pyro sort of cuts and turns off on his own to take a leak. And as he comes out of like the, you know, bathroom tent, essentially, you're there. Smoke, got a light. He says, holy shit, mate. Yeah, I do. All right. Way to sneak up on a guy, but sure. And he just sort of snaps. He sort of like snaps his fingers, and you see as a little bit of flame just kind of emerges as he holds it between his like fingers. It sort of diminishes. He gets it really close, and then lets it go, and he says, do you enjoy the show, mate?
It was awesome. You were so good. I mean, I couldn't take my eyes off you.
I want to mention too, Pyro is in his like late 50s. He's still like, he's pretty fit for an older man.
He's a pretty man, but
he's got
surely
some
he'd be flattered by a
stubble.
34-year-old Johnny Storm look-alike.
Yeah, he's got some stubble. He obviously does not seem to have clocked the fact that you hear Johnny Storm. But you say that, and he says, "Oh, all right. Listen, I try not to do this very often. It's a long tour, and you know, I probably do need to rest tonight. We hit the road first thing in the morning, so I guess what I'm saying is we'll have to be quick. All right."
Okay, sounds good. So I guess my goal would be to sort of like maybe lead him to a private area or something like that.
Sure.
I am using my feminine wiles to lure him away. So, and happy to do whatever.
Cool.
Kissy smoochy, luring, teasing.
Okay, and what's sort of your goal here? Are you trying to get him alone to like talk to him, or is this just Johnny?
My goal is to get him alone. I don't want to talk to him. Fuck this guy. He's a piece of shit.
Okay.
I want to burn off his wires so that he can't start his flames anymore.
Okay.
Because he can't actually generate his own stuff. I know other fire users in my universe. So my goal is to like incapacitate him in that way. So that way when I assume we're going to be in a fight later. So I just want to be ready by knocking that out. So
okay. Go ahead and make me a roll here. Because if you're going to try to do this, you're going to have to be sort of stealthy about it.
The roll is stealth check. Sleight of hand. I'm gonna
right.
continuously make the joke that I don't know how to play the game.
Yeah, no. Make whatever sort of roll I guess you can here against him.
Obviously shameless flirt.
Yeah, let's do a quick Johnny close-up. Hang on. Okay. So yeah, your distinction, shameless flirt. Cool, that makes sense.
So shameless flirt. I'm obviously solo, unfortunately. That's not good for me. I am going to use fire mastery and only.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I was thinking flame blast, but I would rather instead use my tech specialty to flesh this out a little bit.
I think those all make sense actually. Yeah,
Okay.
as you sort of are trying to just disable, maybe even melt components or something within his.
Now the trouble is, do I want to do 2d8s or do I want to do a d10? It sucks. Everything sucks, and I hate it. But loving having a great time. Okay, yeah, this is fine.
Cool.
I rolled a nat 10, so that's nice. It's a 16.
16. Okay. I rolled a 1. And excuse me.
I did 2. I'll buy yours.
That's gonna be a 12. You do want to buy mine?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what you're gonna do?
Because you rolled a 1, so you get a plot point, and then you.
Yeah, and you do start with a plot point too. So
I do start with a plot point. So I'll start with that.
I will buy your plot point. I mean, I will buy your 1, give you a plot point. So I will add a d6 here. And then what do you want to do with the opportunity that you bought?
I was planning on just like shit. I always have to do something with it right away. I always forget about that.
Yeah.
I would say that since oh god, I gotta go to my notes again. I have so many things.
I mean, cutting those things, like if you succeed in cutting those cords, that's a complication.
Oh, like add a complication to him?
Like, can't you use it to...
Can I do that?
Yeah.
I want to add a complication.
Like an asset? Would that be an asset or a complication?
Add a complication to this character that he can't start his own flames anymore.
Cool. So
that way he can harness other people's, and that actually puts me at a disadvantage too. So
you can't. Okay, so just to go over this again, I know this is a hard thing every time.
Every single time.
With an opportunity. So let me just say, you can do exactly what you just said you wanted to do, but with your effect die. Because you succeeded, so you got a 16. What was your effect die?
My effect die is a D8.
Okay, great. So with a D8, you can make a complication called, maybe. I was thinking like can't get it out or something. Like you disabled his flame blasters, essentially.
I'll workshop that for a second while you're talking.
Yeah, think about it. But the other thing, so if with the one that you bought from me, you can either you can step up any die in play for 1 use. You can, which wouldn't really help you right now. You can recover a shutdown power set, or you can remove a die of equal size or lower from the Doom pool.
I'll just do that.
Now,
yes.
So this is where I'm not sure. It's kind of like a weird.
So to me, removing it from the Doom pool makes sense because I am weakening someone who's probably going to be in our next battle.
Totally. I guess
So
I guess
logically-
what I'm saying is what's weird about it is, well, I guess it's because we both rolled 1, so our 1s basically cancel each other out at that point. Because
Right.
I spent a 1 to add a 6 to the Doom pool, you're buying my 1 to take the 6 out of the Doom pool.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Okay, just making sure that made sense in my head.
Great.
Thank you, ND Celio, Fire Unstarter.
Fire Unstarter is pretty great.
That we should call it.
So yeah,
performance
you've got
issues.
a complication on him, D8. So yeah, I think how this scene goes is after you are canoodling
Can I,
a bit.
since I was so successful, he not know? And so he'll find out soon, but like, can he not know for the first round of whatever happens?
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say, because here's the thing, it's not like he's taking this off. You guys are just sort of like making out up against a tree in the woods, essentially. And as you sort of grab your hands and sort of just like maybe like touch a very specific place on his equipment, which this is very
Go on.
on his gear. Green card. We're good to go. You sort of melt like one very specific part of his like pack, and there's no way to say it. And
Go on.
Anyway, point being, he sort of steps back, and he seems to notice immediately. He says, "The fuck did you just do?"
Oh no. I'm so sorry. What? Oh God. That sucks.
Why'd you do that?
I'm so sorry. And I run away.
Okay.
Like acting like I didn't know and freaked out.
Yeah, you
Yep.
just leave him very confused.
Johnny's not a great actor, so he's doing his best right now.
Fantastic. Yeah,
Desperate
welcome
response.
to the show. Importance of being Ted. It's a great time to join indeed.
Oh no.
What? Oh no.
Okay, so fantastic. I love that. We have
Dying.
so Johnny did that. Rogue, I can circle back around to you, but I want to see what everybody else is sort of doing.
I think that Bruce was clandestinely following Johnny enough of a distance to have deniability, but
Sure.
just to make sure that Johnny came back.
Okay, I love that.
I didn't know what was going on.
So you you go check in on that, and you see you sort of watch from a distance as Johnny seems to be taking Pyro out into the woods, sort of like flirtatiously. So they're like just heading out there right now.
Yeah, stressing me out.
You hear somebody sort of calling out to you. If you're looking for autographs, they're around the back.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you see a sort of squat man, again in his like late 50s.
Code is the most disgusting character. in the
I
world,
hate
in
him.
my
I
opinion.
love him.
Like,
I
he's
hate
the
him.
most
It's
disgusting.
important
so
to note
gross.
that he looks, all of them really look a lot different than they did in the show. It's like the illusory makeup that Mysterio gave them sort of hid like their age, and like just so he's rather he looks a lot more disheveled than he did in this heroic place you saw him in the show. But yeah, he looks fine. He's just kind of more just dirty looking. But he says, yeah, the autographs are over here, bud.
And what if I wanted to get your autograph?
Are you trying to flirt too? I love the idea of Bruce just being like,
No, not with him.
Tie.
He says,
Not with him.
well, in
You ever
fact,
sign anything?
He says, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, to be honest, most folks don't ask for my autograph, but,
Yeah, I know.
Oh. Okay. Well, what do you want me to sign?
How about this? And I'm gonna, like, at my side with the Remaker ring, I'm going to conjure with the matter manipulation a card. It's like a business card style thing.
Yeah.
And I'll hand it to him. Team, are we getting in a fracas?
There's
Oh, yeah.
probably
I
gonna be a
hope so.
frozen happening.
I'm chasing
my
wherever
plan.
Rogue's going. Yeah.
Okay.
I've got
I don't
it.
want to do
They
this
attack
too
They
early,
attack
but
Rogue.
It's up to you guys.
I'll hand him the card, the business card. It doesn't have my name on it. It's literally just like a blank white business card that says "fuck you." And as he looks at it, I'm gonna blast him in the face with ice.
Oh my god!
That caught me so off guard.
No one was expecting that.
Oh my god. Okay, before
Disrespect.
Graham. No, let's do this one thing, and then I'm gonna shift over to somebody else here. This is great. This is great.
Shall I make my pool then?
Yes, please. Yes, please
Okay.
do. I swear to God, I was dying. It's just. Oh my God, that was funny.
Evolution.
Sorry, this is the part in the stream where I pull up my character sheet.
Are we bad guys?
Okay.
Are you the bad guys? It's a good question.
It says, there's a comment. Are we the bad guys? Just
Yeah.
secretly
You guys-
attacking elderly people?
You
Very
guys are.
possible.
That's fair.
I mean, you guys are essentially just Will Smithing it up here, and
Yeah, he made
attacking-
me angry. You know,
I mean,
Yeah.
the whole show was
according-
so galling.
according to the production we just watched, we are the bad guys. So yeah, I guess we can hit first.
There you go.
Technicalities.
I'm glad nobody heard my
Loopholes.
comment.
What'd
I
you say?
Wait,
Did you
which
hear
one?
Hollis? Hang on. Let me cut here. I said you guys are basically Will Smithing it, because there was a performance you didn't
Oh.
like, so you decide to get violent with it.
Yeah.
Yup.
Okay. I have rolled a 1, but my total is I'm gonna spend a plot point to add a die to my total.
Okay.
So my total is 14, and I'm trying to make a complication for him, which is like how many variations of encased in ice can we come up with? But his is gonna be stone cold.
Okay.
And I'm gonna just try and like put him in a block of
Yeah.
ice, and the effect die is a D12.
Awesome. I rolled 2 1s.
Yes.
1 on a 6 and 1 on an 8.
Did you activate my hitch?
Yes. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you say that. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah.
So-
So yes. If I don't know if you wanted to, but
Yeah, I will. What was it on? Or it doesn't matter.
It's
for me,
a-
Never mind.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it was a D8, just in case you were wondering.
I'm gonna up one of these to a D10. And then, how did you want? No, nobody's buying mine. Never mind. But anyway, point is that I have a total of 11 and no effect die, so a D4 effect.
Sweet.
So yeah, you succeed.
14. All right, great. So D12, stone cold, as he's putting a block of ice. That's it for me. So go ahead and
Awesome. Yeah, so
Yeah, I won't pass it, I'll just let
you know, it's the fuck you. Huh? Just kind of like he falls back and then he's just sort of in this ice. We're gonna rewind to just like 5 minutes prior to that when Rogue has just kind of blasted out of the tent. We have Daredevil, we have Black Widow. Either of you can go.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just real quick, because I already said that I didn't go after Clint, but it's a moment. It's like it's a very narratively kind of crossroads moment.
Yeah.
And she remembers how Rogue really helped her when she wanted to run after all the Hulks and just sprint away. And because she wants to go after Clint, but she also knows that Rogue is a very dear person to her at this moment in time, and she loves Clint very much, but this isn't the Clint that she knows at home. So usually she'd go after him, but she goes after Rogue and runs after her out the tent.
Okay.
Oh, sisters.
Love that. So as you go after Rogue, I'll come back to you two in a second. Daredevil, what about you?
Well, okay, so the ground it like made Rogue sink, right? It kind of like shoot her up and spat her out.
It seemed like as you look at you go like inspect the area that happened, essentially. The ground looks normal. There's nothing really different about the ground except for the fact that it is now like there's almost like a crater there from where she came out of the ground. So yeah, in a way it's like the ground sort of ate her up, but then she like busted out of it.
Okay, in that case, I'm not messing with that. And I turned to Danny, who's by my side, and I said, "You ready?"
She says, hell yeah, whatever we got, let's go.
All right, we kind of do the bro handshake thing where I grab her by the forearm, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
And I throw my swing line to the one piece of scaffolding because it is a circus tent, but it's big, so there's probably something up there. And we are going to swing to the other side of the tent, out through where Rogue was yanked, and on our way, just in case, I would love for Danny as our asset to just grab Black Widow by the neck, in a friendly, heroic way.
Friendly, heroic way. I'm gonna grab your neck.
So
no, I'm sorry.
Clear,
I mean, like a
Hollis,
The scruff.
Hollis,
Yeah.
are you wanting to pursue Rogue? Is that what you're trying?
Yeah.
Okay,
I wanna just
Great.
like bolt her towards where she was.
I love
yanked,
it.
yeah.
So yeah, you swing around. Again, Danny is just quite heavy, but you're used to that by this point after pulling her out of the ocean onto that bridge. So you swing around, give Black Widow a bit of a boost, and the three of you find Rogue out in the middle. Like, so all of the sort of civilians and whatnot have stopped getting autographs at this point, at least in this area, and you find yourselves out near the tents, but off a little more like to the side. So it's not like in the immediate vicinity of where Bruce and Toad are having their interaction and whatnot. So a little more of like a fairground area, just sort of like a big plain. You see as the three of you get there, Rogue is on Rogue. I think you sort of pushed yourself forward until you were going like so fast it was uncontrollable, and then you just sort of skittered out onto the ground. The metal instinctively like unsheathes itself from you. You all watch as these metal plates kind of dissolve off of her, just seemingly go nowhere. She's laying on the ground, and the three of you are welcome to sort of have a scene here.
Rogue like she's kind of laying there just like staring up at the ground for a second. She's like just breathing really hard, and she's just like, what's happening to me? And she is gonna try and like, she's trying to get to her feet, but she's really shaky, and she's looking like a deer about to bolt. She is not okay.
I'd love to run over and try and help her up.
Yeah.
Steady her a little bit.
You help her up, and
I think when
sorry, Widow.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to be mean here, and I am going to give you a plot point.
Okay.
And I am going to shut down your Widow bracelet.
Okay.
Because what happens is, as you give her a hand up, Rogue reaches out, takes your hand, and you watch as a sort of pink charge shifts from Rogue out into your like bracelet, and seems to like, and it just fizzles out, shut down. Rogue, all of this has been a whirlwind for you, but that specifically, you know exactly what just happened.
Yeah. I think at that, like that was kind of just like the tipping point for her, and she that blasts, and she just starts taking some steps back, and she says, "Don't touch me, just keep away from me," and she's gonna she's gonna try and get away again. Like she's
okay.
like, I can't control it.
Yeah, you say that. I think your emotions are just so high right now, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but
Oh yeah, they're hot.
I think you sort of feel like, you know that feeling when you're about to cry, and it's like there's just like a little bit of like heat around your eyes. But as you sort of feel that, the rest of you watch as Rogue's eyes begin to glow. And she says, just get away, and force blasts blast out of Rogue's eyes, smacking into Danny, who just takes it. You two are fine, but Danny sort of kind of catches the brunt of it from you.
Well, shit.
I think it's becoming quite obvious to the rest of you that Rogue somehow seems to be displaying powers of the X-Men. And at this point, I'll go ahead and reveal to the audience Rebecca's upgrade that she got from the end of last act. Some of you might have already noticed I did this earlier, but you can see here. So Rebecca Rogue has a new power set. This was part of a milestone that she had after she drained the power from Mr. Sinister way back. The effects of that are still a sort of cocktail within her body. So yeah, you have a new power set called, wait, what do we call it again? Hang on.
Hybrid X genes.
Thank you, Hybrid X
Nice.
genes. So you have the intangibility of Kitty Pryde, the kinetic energy generation of Gambit, the optic blast of Cyclops, the
Crazy.
metal mimicry of Colossus, which takes two forms, both durability and strength, and then the telekinesis of Psylocke. So all of those powers are sort of floating around within you, although it's very apparent that you cannot control them
I
yet.
do not know how to use them.
You're basically like a teenage X-Men, again, trying to understand new powers. And if it wasn't clear, this will permanently take the place of your Carol Danvers powers. So you no longer have Carol Danvers memories or powers. No more flying.
Godlike strength.
No more godlike strength. I mean, you still have versions of that, but
So was
Yeah.
that kinetic energy that got Black Widow's thing?
yeah, it was like
Yeah.
a Gambit power-up blast, essentially.
Okay. Can I say that I've wandered in here at this point?
I'm gonna say no, only because this is happening while you're out in the woods. We're sort of doing these all simultaneously, but it's at this point as the optic blast shoots off. Banner freezes Toad, and you do come back. Okay, so I take back what I said. You do come back right now, Johnny, just in time to see Rogue sort of blast into Danny. And it's at this point when all of you sort of kind of collide in this moment. We're going to take a quick break. And we'll jump right back in here to this scene after our break. So we'll be right back. And we are back. Hello, everybody. All right, so we're gonna jump right back into it here. All of you converge onto this spot in this campground, and in that moment, I think that Bruce, it's you who is closest to the campground, and it's you who is going to essentially take the brunt of this as I jump in here. So, unfortunately, the one person that you didn't add to the thing yet, but it's Blob.
Nice.
Oh no.
Blob kind of steps out from a tent where he was clearly like, I don't know, relaxing somehow, drinking maybe.
Yeah,
relaxing. There's a magazine. He says, "Hey, what'd you do to Toad?" Or he doesn't call him Toad, actually. He says, "What'd you do to Morty?" And he kind of runs over and he just says, "You're gonna regret that, buddy." So here is an attack on Banner.
Okay.
That's gonna be a 15 with a D8.
All right. I'm going to try to teleport out of the way using Remaker.
Cool.
Am I still solo, you think? Is that fair?
I think at this point, I just did a
Is there someone else around?
Well, I think all of you are sort of in the vicinity.
Oh, okay.
I think this is a really good opportunity for you to pick whichever's highest.
I never
Thanks,
get to use
Kelsey.
solo.
Oh, well then do solo. Do solo.
Okay.
Yeah, if
Thank
you were
you.
wanting to do solo, we can.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's sort of a, gray area right now with where you guys are at.
Sure. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm just gonna try and teleport back to where I was standing.
Cool.
Before I kind of approached Toad.
Okay.
You said I need a 15.
Yep.
I got that's a 16.
Great.
And so yeah, I can have a D8 for my effect, or D10 for my effect. But yeah, I dodge, teleport back.
So yeah, and he sort of crashes through a sort of like makeshift fence that they put up to sort of do the campground, and just crashes through, and he sort of takes a while to stop, and he turns around and he says, "How'd you do that?" And
I'm like getting low into my stance. The rings all light up. I'm
fantastic. Okay, well, that was Blob's turn. I'm gonna go ahead and just, for the sake of it, do all of the villains in one turn and then pass it to you guys. And by villains, I mean people that you're fighting at the moment.
Wow.
So
do them all. Huh?
Yeah, but Mysterio and Mystique aren't here, so they don't really count.
Okay.
It's Pyro and Toad who I'm gonna do. Pyro chases Johnny back onto the scene. He keeps trying to do his flame, but it's not really working. So honestly, he can't really do much. He just kind of calls out. He sort of like sounds the alarm, if you will. Hey, we're getting attacked out here. Somebody. And you like see he like starts to say something, and then he kind of stops and he says, "Somebody come out here and help us, please." And then Toad is simply going to try to break out of the ice. God, it was a D12. Bruce, will you roll against me here? As Toad is going to try and essentially... Graham, are you on? Okay, cool. Sorry. I couldn't tell if you were frozen.
Yeah, sorry.
Can you just roll against Toad here? I got a 17 as he's going to try to break out of the ice.
Okay.
17 with a D8.
Fascinating. Let's see. Just gotta assemble his pool. I guess I'll use my Ice Blast.
Okay.
Right? Is that fair?
Yeah.
Is my power for this?
Yeah,
Since I'm not
it's sort of
actively
the
doing it, it's
strength
based
of
on
the Ice Blast. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's cool.
I don't know for my specialty. I'm not sure. Let me. Yeah. I'll use science for my specialty because I made the ice like pretend I know chemistry, and I'll explain why that ice is extra dense.
Pretend I know chemistry. I should start saying that every time I try to explain scientific stuff to my age. Just pretend I know chemistry, and then that's what it is.
Yeah.
Love it.
Why do I have a D? Oh, the D12 is the complication. Okay, cool. This is a big pool. Need one of you. All right, baby. That's a 17.
Cool.
You're stuck in ice, my friend.
Stuck in ice.
Sinjin, or St. John, however you pronounce it.
Yeah, I know. It's very confusing. Except that's not even St. John. That's
oh, it's Toad.
It's
Never
Mortimer.
mind.
Yeah.
I just got excited.
Okay. So he remains stuck in ice. That's his turn. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pass it to. So each of you will now get a turn before anything else happens. Let's go to Johnny.
Okay. Rogue is freaking out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Widow is there. Nobody's gone except for Bruce, right? Our group.
Yeah, it sort of depends on what we're calling a round, essentially. I was gonna let each of you go once now. Like,
okay, I'm gonna try.
start
You know
fresh,
what? I'm going to I'm gonna attack Toad, and I'm gonna say, I read somewhere once that if you get somebody really cold and then really hot immediately, they explode. Let's see if it works. Wow, we are bad guys, huh? And then I'm gonna just
Oh my god.
hit him with my shit, I guess.
was that?
Is
I'm
that
in
a
my dark
reference?
era. I'm
Yeah,
evil now.
I couldn't tell if that was a reference to
Nope. I'm in my dark era.
Halle
I'm
Berry's
evil
storm.
Damn,
Ah.
happens to a toad.
Something like that. Yeah, I like that.
Same thing that
I
happened.
was doing Halle Berry Storm.
She was so hot as Storm.
She's so hot. I
She's
mean,
just hot.
she is, but as Storm, it was like the like Mandarin collar that's open.
And the
like,
the silver hair, just
You're doing it. You're doing it.
I loved the bangs.
And I want to sort of stand in a way where it's pointed away from Pyro because I don't want to give him any fires, but you know, it is
Sure.
what it is if he gets it. Mhm. Yeah, and I'm also gonna say, that being said, I'm including science in it.
Okay.
DX. I'm gonna spend a plot point to move this along
Uh-huh.
by adding an extra die in of my roll.
Great.
18.
Okay. Yeah. I rolled a 13. So, do you add to his complication somehow?
Toads?
Yeah, to knock him
Yeah.
out?
Yep.
Perfect. Describe to me what happens.
I do that and I'm like, oh god, I am bad, like a little bit like, and then I do it and he just like falls on the ground and I'm like, oh fuck, oh my god, is he okay?
Yeah,
And a little bit, yeah.
the mixture of the
shaken up
ice, the freezing cold mixed with the enormous heat just sort of like was too much for his body as he's like, ah! and
And
just
he's
kind of
already
falls
sort of
over.
like a gray pallorous skin, you know, like
Yeah.
a little bit slimy looking. And now it just is like a little bit crispy looking. It's not it's not good.
Amazing. Who do you pass it to? So you and Bruce
I'm gonna-
have gone, we're gonna say. So it's just
I'm
the other
very
three.
interested in seeing what happens with Widow now.
Cool.
Yes, so I'm wondering who's near me.
So Blob isn't far away.
Okay.
And then you are near Rogue. You are near.
I think I might spend my turn trying to give Rogue an ass. Is it an asset? Is that the right word?
Ass. Thank you.
Yes,
Ass.
an asset. Yeah,
I
yeah.
love
An
ass.
asset, yes. So I think I just kind of want to come up to her and just kind of calm her down.
Mm.
Like, hey, you're not alone. You don't have to run. You told me the same thing once. I'm going to say it back to you. You have family. You're okay. And just kind of even though my wrists were, short circuited, I'm going to put my hands on her, like, upper arms and just kind of calm her down a little bit. So I need to roll, though, to give her this asset, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have that many die.
This will just be against the Doom pool, so...
Yep, we'll see what happens.
It's not too bad.
She makes it worse. No.
But would this be buddy or team?
I like buddy for this. That's really
that's
great.
I think so too. Okay, one moment, please. All right, here we go.
This would be where relationships as a set, which is a thing you can do in Cortex Prime, that would really come in handy here.
I see.
Anyway.
Okay.
Just saying.
I did roll 1-1.
Because of course you did.
Yes, of course.
It's all on brand.
Okay, well,
At least it wasn't 3.
I'll buy your 1.
All right. Okay. And then let's see here. My total is a 17, and my effect die is a D8.
Okay. No, the rolls are not with me today. I got a 13.
Oh.
The D10. So, yeah. What is the asset?
Oh, I guess it would be something like, I don't know, inner peace. Something like, wait, you know what? Chat said girl power, and I like that. Let's
Girl
do that
power.
one.
Got power.
Girl power. I love it. Okay. So that's a D8, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is for rogue. This is a rogue asset now. It's a rogue asset.
Rogue asset.
Rogue ass.
Fantastic.
Rogue
So yeah,
ass.
you go over to her and you put your hands on her shoulders essentially,
Mhm.
and just like are a steadying presence, maybe doing some of that red room training of breathing that you do.
Breath work.
And I think it reflects that really nice scene you guys had earlier in the desert.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Who are you passing it to?
Okay, I will pass it over to Daredevil. He's near
Okay.
me.
Cool. So correct me if I'm wrong, Justin. Well, first of all, Blob is near me. Yeah.
Yeah, Blob is.
Yep. Okay. Cool. And even though he's almost impenetrable, his face and especially his ears are super vulnerable, right?
Sure. Yeah. I love it.
Okay. In that case, I'm gonna turn to Danny and finally get it right this time with my one-liner. I'm like, you want to keep these good vibes going?
Oh my god.
And I'm going to hand her one end of the billy club, right? And I'm going to have the other end. So like the swing line is still activated.
Yeah.
I want us to charge the blob and ram each end into his ears.
Great.
Ooh.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Go ahead and build the roll, buddy.
Okay. This is blind justice, baby. And this is definitely another buddy roll for sure. I'm going to say this is acrobatic only because we are literally climbing up a super villain.
Totally.
A very squishy bit.
A very squishy person.
Yeah, and this version of Blob is incredibly large, but not like, Jabba the Hutt. He's he is like very large, but weirdly kind of mobile and whatnot as well.
So I rolled 20 with a D10 effect.
Nice, dude.
Jesus
Whoa.
Lord.
Amazing. Jeez, yeah, that's not. These guys are not. You're getting the sense that they're very out of practice and are not honestly even much of a threat.
They're B team. Let's be clear.
They're B team.
They're
Always
very
were.
B team. Always have
Uh,
been, always will be.
They hide behind a stronger villain. Like
Yeah.
that's their job.
Yeah.
They're
Mhm.
cronies.
So my highest
thugs.
roll
Professional goons.
is a 10.
So sorry.
And so you got a 20. What was your effect die?
D10, baby.
A D10.
That's a heroic. Double
That's
heroic?
a double
How many?
heroic up from a D10, which means an instant knockout.
Dang, Hollis!
In that
Nice.
case, I will turn to Danny and say, it seems to me that this is the B team and they're a little bit out of practice. It's like the words are just kind of like funneling through my brain.
Yeah, you boom, and he goes, ah, what the hell? Ah, it just kind of collapses on the ground. Loud sort of a thoom from around. Amazing. Now, technically, all of the threats have been disabled. Pyro can't honestly do anything. So I'm gonna pass it to Rogue. Well, Daredevil, you pass it to Rogue. It's your final. She's the last one to go.
Of course. Yeah, I'm gonna give Danny a hug first, though, just like
I love that.
real tight. But I'm so small in comparison to her that it's a little emasculating, but I'm fine with it.
Yes. Yeah, she holds you. She's very excited about this, that you just did that together. As she hands your billy club back. So Rogue, as you finish this round and sort of the battle altogether, I'm just sort of handing it to you. You don't have to like take an action necessarily if you don't want to, but it's up to you. If you want to build on the asset that Black Widow gave you, if you want to sort of let that, calm you down. I don't know. You tell me sort of where Rogue's at with this.
Yeah, I think she's still in a panic, but she's not in a blind panic anymore. I think Black Widow's words really got to her, and the fact that she had this physical contact, somebody talking to her eye to eye, like I think that does calm her down a lot, so that I think like the random like basically power seizures are stopping. Like it's calmed down a bit, and I think she yeah, I think so. I want to use a power, so so I think Black Widow says that, and Rogue like peeks open her eye to see if she can still see, and she sees Pyro kind of running around in the background just yelling for someone, and she's gonna try and fire an optic blast at him, like just to shut him up.
Sure. Awesome. Okay.
And so do I add that DA, or is that just like an aesthetic?
Yeah, no, the asset?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you add it. Absolutely.
Okay.
And you can also add his D8 of his complication, which is his performance issues thing. So you can add 2 D8s basically to your regular roll.
1, 2. Looking at my build, it's all fucking 8s, man. It's just all 8s.
That's not bad. That's a good place to be.
That is hilarious. I just think it's funny. Like, yeah. All right. Oh, mama. All right. So that's a 15 with a D8.
Okay. I should take a picture of what I just rolled, you guys. Hang on. No, I don't want to do it right now. But just trust me when I say I rolled 3 2s and a 4.
Wow.
Dang.
Wow.
That is.
The dice really understood the assignment.
Yes.
They
of this
did.
battle. They were like, yeah, this is the B team.
Yeah, they're like,
This is a big game.
we're gonna take the. We're gonna take.
I got a
the
6 is my highest. What'd you roll?
15.
Okay, so that is not quite a double heroic, right?
Mhm.
Wait, math? No. So
No.
it's a step up. What was your die?
D8.
Okay, so it's a D10, which you tell me what happens. What's the effect for it?
So, Black Widow like says that to her, and Rogue kind of like moves her slightly to the side and like just shoots this optic blast like practically over her shoulder, and then like the Duck Hunt video game, she just if the optic blast plows into him and sends him flying probably into another tent, like he's
Phenomenal.
airborne for a hot second, just ass over kettle.
Yes.
Yeah.
He flies into a
Awesome
tent.
kettle.
And amazing. So yeah, Pyro and Toad are both Toad and Blob are both out. Pyro is now knocked out as well, and the round ends as you guys have knocked them all out in the first scene here, in the first round, excuse me. And kind of emerging from the back area of the tent, you hear a voice, "The hell's going on out here?" As walking over and helping Toad up, you see an old man with long gray hair tied back in a ponytail, in addition to a blindfold around his eyes. He's got to be upper 60s, if not early 70s. And he wait, is that math right? Okay, maybe mid 60s. Yeah, but he helps Mortimer up, Toad, and he kind of calls out like, "The hell's going on out here?" And you can't help but notice that this is absolutely Clint Barton.
Whoa.
Looking extremely different than he did in the tent. Again, that facade of the mist sort of, made it look like a certain way, but it was actually him. I mean, it was him. He helps Toad up, and he walks forward a bit, and he says, "All right, punks, listen, I don't know what you want. I don't know who owes you money, but we don't got any of that right now. You can take it up with Osborne, all right? He's the one who pays the bills, so just go handle that in VC."
I'd like to take a step forward and say, "Clint."
What?
Oh, I was hoping he'd recognize my voice.
Well, you do say Clint. He says, it's just like a moment. He says,
Yeah.
what? Like, there's like recognition, but he's not getting it. He's not quite there.
Clint, it's Natasha.
The fuck? Steak, is this you? He walks over, and he like aggressively walks over, and he says, "I swear to God, if you're pulling this shit again."
I take his hand and I put it on my face.
His hand is rough, extremely calloused. As it touches your soft face, your soft skin, you see it sort of pulls back. It almost like flinches. And then it gives in and just holds the face for a moment. You see his lip starts to quiver. He says, "Nat, what is this?"
I'd like to say, what happened to you?
What happened to me? How the fuck are you here?
It's a long story. Why are you working for Mysterio?
You can tell that beneath the blindfold, tears are streaming down the face. When you say why you work for Mysterio, he sort of takes a step back and clenches the fist again, and he says, That's what you want to talk about? Are you kidding me?
Listen, I don't know what happened to me here. I'd love to find out, but I'd also like to know why you quit.
He is not taking it in at this point. There's a state of shock he has gone into, and the rest of you watch as that's sort of happening. You watch an older gentleman in a rather fine suit of like, you know, greens and purples walk down, and he says, all right, my, seems we have some explaining to do. Why don't you all come in, join us? You're our guests for the night. There's clearly some discussions need to be had, and I believe we could all help each other out.
Yeah, we really want to spend the night in Missouri with you people.
Way to channel it.
Is Mystique there?
You, Rogue, see there's a few other people, like Carney people, sort of like gathered around that are like, whoa, what the fuck's happening? Like, what's going on? But Rogue, you sort of looking in that direction, see one of them is a regular looking woman, nothing particular about her, but you, again, she's like staring at you, and there's like utter shock on her face, and she just doesn't look away from you. Is Carney people a bad thing to say? I'm sorry, I thought they were like
I don't
Carnies.
think so, but it just sounds
No,
like
it's just
a
funny.
derogatory term.
Okay.
I don't think it is, but yeah.
Do they smell like cabbage?
Carnival people?
Small hands.
I think at this point, if with your permission, we can cut ahead here. I would like to, if you are willing, jump forward to a sort of campfire scene, and we can sort of have individual scenes off of this. But for the most part, you gather, I mean, these people don't want to hurt you. At least, not right now.
Oh.
So, they seem docile enough, and you've also proven that you can kick their ass if you need to. So it's like, it is night, you do need a place to sleep, so, I don't know. There may be something that's just sort of the ease factor of this. Not to mention, Clint seems to be vouching for them. Which, you know. So, we're going to have a transition scene here. Everybody can step back any stress you had. Let's get rid of some of the complications that we don't need, or the assets and complications that we don't need anymore. Along with, yeah. I do want to just mention to you, Elise, that
Yes.
because of your shutdown power, your
Yes.
Widow's bracelet, you are going to, at some point during this transition scene, if you want to, make a roll against the Doom Pool to try and fix those,
Awesome.
I
essentially.
was wondering if I could work on that with her.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say, too, canonically, this would be a great time for you to make adjustments to them, if you so choose.
Yeah, I mean,
I made the Hulk Smasher, so whatever I did to do that, I would love to help you out.
Clearly, he's very good at what he does.
But we can do that after. I mean, there's probably more
Yeah.
pressing matters on your mind, so we can do
Sure.
that in a bit. Okay, well, do we want to start there then? Would you say that you have a private conversation with Clint, or is anybody else there as
Yes.
well?
Oh, private for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think we're just sitting around. I'm sitting next to him, and I kind of, you know, touch his hand to tell him I'm there. And I'll ask him what happened. Just a blanket, what happened?
Oh, what happened? That's a big question, Nat. What happened? You, we lost. We lost, and I didn't die, Nat. You all died, and you left me. And, Cap, Cap said to run. To get out. To survive. And I left. Like a coward. And you died. And there were others like me, the cockroaches who survived just to live, to fight another day and die then. We lost more and more. It just got to be too much. I can't. I'm not a hero anymore, Nat. I don't think I ever was. So I'm here. That these people, they're not so bad. Got a shit deal, honestly. Just like me. So that's what happened, Nat.
You know, everyone else might fall for your self-hatred, but I don't. You quit. You quit when there was still red in your ledger. I'm disappointed, to say the least.
Yeah. He's silent for a long time. And then he says, How are you here?
Dr. Doom, wherever I was, created some sort of portal that brought us here. At first we thought we were transported to the future. Now we think we're in another dimension. We are trying to gather materials to get home so that this doesn't happen to you.
You're from the past, and your goal is to go back and to keep this from happening. That's fuck, Nat. That's some real crazy shit right there.
Sure. Yeah. I guess we shouldn't try, huh? Yeah. It's too crazy. That's too hard.
You have him crying of laughter. He's belly laughing. And as he tries to get words out, he just keeps laughing. And he says, I haven't heard such a Avengers fucking level plan like that in such a long time. That is the most superhero bullshit I've heard.
You know,
God.
I spent this whole entire trip trying to find you, and now I wish I never had. You gave up. I'm not. And I'd like to stand up and walk away.
And as you stand up, you start to step away, but you feel a hand caught, not on your body, something pulling you back. You realize his hand has reached out and seemingly accidentally grabbed his bow that you are holding. And as it sort of grabs, and you see there's like a recognition on his face, and then he lets go, and he says, is that mine?
And I say, you can have it back when you've earned it. And I walk away.
My
Hells
is
yes.
vicious.
Hells yes. Amazing scene. Let's jump over to Rebecca, where I think Rogue, what would you be doing? I guess, knowing that Mystique is here, do you seek that out or do you ignore it?
I think Rogue does go look for Mystique, and I think for like a brief moment she like kind of passes by like a mirror or something reflective hanging up, and if it's okay with you,
yeah,
I would like to make an aesthetic change, which is her skin is now sheet white and her eyes are red like Sinister's. Like she's got this really kind of monstrous look to her.
Hot.
And
Rogue
so,
does?
yeah.
Oh my god, okay.
Mother.
And so because she got them from him, so
Yeah.
I'm like
I
I
love
think that's
it.
the one thing she got at least was that look.
Yeah, because I mean,
And-
his genes were definitely floating in there too.
Yeah.
And so there's definitely a bit of him.
As
as well.
twisted and as shaken up as they were, they're still in there somewhere. And so I think she stops and she's kind of looking at a mirror, just kind of like looking at herself, and like she's having a bit of a a mental crisis of just like, I don't know who I am anymore.
As you have this moment with yourself, you hear a voice. This is maybe in a tent that they have let you like sort of given you for the night, you know, your group, but you're alone in there right now. There's just it's a small mirror. It's like a broken sort of, you know, piece of mirror that they sort of, you know, put up there for like some of the actors to like be able to check themselves before they go on stage or something. And as you are looking at this in the mirror, you hear the voice of Mystique, just at the entryway to the tent. Well, I can't say it's a bad look.
I've had worse. And she turns around to see Mystique. Is it Mystique or is it Mystique wearing someone else's face?
It's Mystique, blue skin, but she doesn't look like she's aged at all. I mean, you've never known Mystique to look like she's aged. She always looks like she's in her 20s and like beautiful and fit, and you know, I don't know that Mystique has ever just let herself be herself. There's just, you know, she's always something. She always has to just like default to something. So but she does sort of look how you know her to look, although her clothes are very different. You know, kind of tattered clothing and whatnot. She says, after you sort of joke back with her, she takes a few quick steps. There's a moment of hesitation, and she says, Rogue, I don't know. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
What did you?
I don't know.
I guess I shouldn't be surprised.
I know that I've gathered enough to know that you are not my Rogue, but I'm sure wherever you are from, I have done horrible things to you. And I want you to know I have done unforgivable things here as well. And you can see her eyes are watering up. Her hands are sort of clammy. They are sort of like fidgeting a little bit. I don't think you've ever seen Mystique like this. She's the most confident, person. Always has some thing going on, and maybe this is it. Maybe this is a thing, but it's a new one. You've never seen this one.
Yeah.
She says, I never had the chance here in this world to tell my rogue just how much I regretted the mistakes I made. And I know that it may not mean much to you, but I have to at least look in those eyes and say the words, I am sorry.
And I think Rogue, just with everything that just happened in the past, 15,
Yeah,
I guess it's been about an hour by this point,
two,
but
yeah.
But since she had that whole episode, I think more than anything, what Rogue really wants right now, and that this seems like the only chance she's ever going to get in her lifetime, I think she's going to pull Mystique into a hug, and she's just going to give her a big hug, and she's gonna.
You pull her in, and you feel the surprise of that from her. You feel her just give you her weight, and she almost collapses into your embrace. You feel the warmth of her hot tears on your shoulder. And she holds you for a long moment, and then she says, there's someone else. Will you come with me?
Sure.
And
course,
she sorry to interrupt that was beautiful.
No,
she
you're
takes
fine.
your hand, and she walks you through past the campfire, past everybody else where there's other things going on, and she walks you to one of the farthest back tents, where it's very quiet, and she holds the flap open, and inside you see, sitting in a corner, you see Destiny. You see oh my god, what's her name? Adler. Irene, thank you. You see Irene Adler. She is not, she doesn't seem to notice you at first, and honestly doesn't even look like she's moving very much. She's very still, but she looks very old. And Mystique comes in and she says, Irene. She sits down next to her and she takes her hand and interlocks fingers, and she says, Irene, Rogue is here. She doesn't seem to acknowledge much going on. She turns to you, Mystique. She says, she's fading. I think I'm losing her. But I'm really glad you are here. Have a seat.
I think Rogue like sits on the floor
Mhm.
next to Irene and just kind of like puts her head kind of in her lap, just sort of
Yeah.
and just
And-
kind of holding one of her hands.
Yeah. Mystique holding her hand and then almost like putting her other hand on your head, starts stroking your hair a little bit. And she says, after V-Day, after I helped take down S.H.I.E.L.D. that day, I met back up with Eric, and we ruled here. This whole region was Magneto's. I was his right hand. But after years and years of that, I came back to find him dead. He had taken his own life. Thousands of tiny metal shards there was a note confessing sin, begging Charles for forgiveness. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know what changed, but when I saw that and I read that, I knew everything was different. I was alone for a long time after that. I wasn't going to rule in his stead. I didn't care to. I found Irene. She accepted me. We lived a few good years together, happily. But, and here she stops stroking your hair. She says, it doesn't matter. It didn't matter how much I sought peace. It was never going to happen for me. Not truly, after what I had done. So instead, I thought of penance instead. I tried to do right by people. I couldn't help much, but little bits here and there. And then she, almost like she wasn't planning on telling you this, but then she thinks about it. She says, Logan found me. He was hurting. He was in pain. This was before. This was when Eric was still alive.
You gave him to Sinister, didn't you?
Yes. But Rogue, it's not what you think. Logan wanted to die. He asked Eric to kill him. And Eric tried. And it wouldn't take. And after weeks of this, we had no choice. We knew that Sinister could make it so that Logan, he may not be dead, but he surely wouldn't be alive. Logan agreed. And so I took him there myself. I don't know why, but he seemed at peace, knowing he was going to let it all go.
Logan's always been a survivor. He's not like you. I don't understand. Why would he try to kill himself? Like, I don't understand. Everything in this world is so backwards.
She starts stroking your hair again, and she says, "This world is what we made it. What I made it. And there isn't a day." She looks to you, and she sort of like lifts you up at this point to look you in the eyes, and she says, "There isn't a day that I wish I could be someone else. I wish I could have been more like you."
You always could, Mama. You just didn't want to. Where do you think I learned it from?
She holds your hand, and I think there's just a peaceful moment with you three in that tent. And however long it lasts, it is one of the happiest, it seems, that she has had.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the rest of you. You tell me, is there anything you want to be doing during this transition scene? Anybody you want to be talking to? Hollis?
Yeah, I think so. I'm in an outdoor area, but in that like same communal area with Danny, right? Dream team.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of pacing around and I'm taking in, you know, like the vibe of everyone, and I'm kind of feeling a little manic.
Yeah.
I'm pacing back and forth, and I finally stop and I turn to her and I say, I kind of feel bad that I had a pretty good time, didn't you?
You mean kicking ass just now?
Kicking ass, yes.
Yes.
Watching you kick ass like your mom, like your dad, that was incredible.
Yeah, no, I mean, yes, it was. It was absolutely incredible. Yeah.
What? And then I like go over to her and I kind of shake her shoulders. I've got a little bit of a wild look in my eye.
Yeah.
And
she says, as you say what, you sort of like shake her a little bit. She says, I told you a long time ago when we first met that I want to be like them. I want to be like you. I want to be an Avenger. I want to help this world. And I've never felt more like I am doing that than when I'm hanging out with you. And thank you.
You're welcome, kid. You're welcome. Look at you. And again, there's this size difference, so it's kind of a comic moment of like a go get him, kid. So kind of like a father-daughter dynamic. And then I have this moment of clarity, and I turned to her. I said, "You know all that stuff in the tent? That's just that guy's bullshit. You know that, right?"
Yeah, no, I know. I know, it's not how it how it happened, how it really happened.
No, not to your parents. Not to your parents. No, and not to you. You were kicking ass. And then, in the middle of that thought, realizing that I've made, or at least have aided in making a killer out of Danny, and a violent person out of Danny, I start, with your permission, Justin, to go into my head a little bit, and I see the face of Fisk. Right after I killed him, that becomes superimposed onto like Leader's deflated face, right? Which kind of blends into the Luke and Jessica the Luke that we just saw die. And I start to shake and kind of go nonverbal because I realized I've completely backtracked from this devil's penance, which is my...
She, as you said that and you sort of stopped short, she doesn't seem to notice what's happening with you, and instead kind of picks up where you left off, saying, exactly what I'm talking about. Like, when we are punishing these monsters for what they did, nothing feels more right. If my parents were here, I know that they'd be doing the same thing. They'd be heroes. And that's what a hero is, right?
Starting to level out. I put my hand on her shoulder, realizing what I've done. And I walk away.
You hear her call out once to you, Matt? Did I say something? And then you're gone. Whoops, wrong one.
I thought that was in character. Danny's just going, whoops.
Whoops. Whoops. Did I do that? Amazing scenes, y'all. Graham, Kelsea.
I did want to do something.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to Mysterio.
Okay.
If we can. I'm gonna do the same thing where I just sort of walk out of the darkness, and I've got like a coin in my hand, and I'm like flipping it, and I just whiff it and drop it on accident. I'm like, fuck, not my thing. Okay, so you guys are the good guys now, I guess.
This is the Mysterio, you say this?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else sort of sitting around the fire. He's like sort of sitting back a little bit, like just sort of kicking back with the drink. And he says, yes, so good guys, right, the whole show and everything.
Mm-hmm.
You saw that. Yes.
Yeah,
well,
impressive rendition of how it went. I mean, I wasn't there, so I wasn't familiar, but thank you for filling in all the dark spots of how my friends and family were killed by the people that were here today.
Oh, come on, you know better than that. It's a show. It's for the people.
Yeah, I know that my sister and what's his face, Mr. Fantastic, definitely were not going around strangling people. What a stupid ass show. Anyway,
yes.
I didn't come here to yell at you about that.
Well, it's you. Okay.
What? Go on. No.
Well, I was just going to say that, while I do have the artistic integrity for the whole show, and it is all sort of under my domain, it is also has to fit into a certain dynamic with which President Osborne, is, trying to, push, you understand? You see, in the world, and he kind of starts just like mansplaining to you, I suppose.
Yeah, got it. I know what propaganda is. So, are you working with Norman?
Oh, No.
Is this really like endorsed by him and for him, or is this just a ploy to get the working class people in this area on board?
Well, both. I
No
suppose.
judgment. I just want to know what the sitch is.
Look, here's the sitch, as you say.
Yeah.
Have a seat, please. So let me first understand. You're from a different world, is that right? Another plane of existence. Fantastic.
Yeah, a more pleasant one. Yep.
Uh-huh. And in that world, I'm sorry, I missed it. Who are you?
Don't worry about it. I'm Scott Summers. So anyway,
Well, I know that's not true.
it doesn't matter, right? We all are living in an illusion now.
Sure.
But no, I'm just wondering, like,
Yeah.
all of these people, we have not seen yet people that seem happy, whether they are mutants or heroes or villains or anything. Everybody seems shitty. So I was just wondering, like, what are your thoughts on that? Do you agree, or?
Well, have you been to Victory City?
No.
No. All right, well, that explains it. See, the people who are happy are the people in Victory City.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Good.
so
So a city in a country as big as one city is the positive one, and all the other ones are unhappy, and that's successful, or?
listen, it wasn't my choice. Look,
No,
yes,
no, I'm just like getting the facts.
Osborn,
Remember, I'm
President
Scott Summer.
Osborn
I'm
is listen, President Osborn has helped. There was a vacancy, you understand?
Yeah.
After V-Day. And Osborn, being who he is, snatched up power and has led this country, the very shambles of it even, into the future. And so, people choose to believe what he tells them because it's easier that way.
Oh yeah, no, that makes. Yeah.
You asked why there's no happy people.
Yeah.
Well, I would
Why-
say that you are looking and talking to people who are choosing not to believe.
Got it. So would you be equally satisfied if the tides changed a little bit, as long as you still were able to keep your position?
I know that you're not suggesting what I think you're suggesting, because that would be treason, but, if you're asking what I believe in, or what I want, the answer is clear. I want to be left alone. I want what I have right now, which is a troupe of individuals who think of me as a fucking badass and a paying job that allows me to drink away my sorrows. That's what I want. I have no desire for power. I have no need to rule. There is a simple life on the horizon for me, and as long as you don't get in the way of that, I really have no quarrel with you, mister.
Excellent. Summers.
Mr. Summers. Sure.
He
He clearly wasn't listening when you mentioned something about your sister.
Yeah. Yeah, at all. One last question. What did you do on V-Day?
It's here. If we were playing D&D, I would have you roll an insight check, but instead
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you that you can see it. For the record, the DC would have been like 5, because it's very obvious that he is completely shaken by this question. You see he turns pale, and he stands up, and he says, do excuse me, I need to take a leak.
I'm not finished talking to you right now.
He stops, turns around to you. What did I do on V-Day? And
That was the
Kelsea,
question.
I'm going to cut us away here. I'm going to jump over to Graham,
Mm-hmm.
and then we will cut back to that.
Because you know that I'm going to jump into something.
Well, maybe, yeah, and I just I think that question might build into something else here. So, Graham, what is Bruce doing throughout this?
I think in the aftermath, I don't know. I'm trying to get like an idea of how many people are around. I assume the audience has kind of drifted away, right?
Oh yeah, the audience is long gone by this point.
Does it look like they come, set up, do a bunch of performances for like a few weeks, and then move to another spot?
Yeah, it sounds like that, and it sounds like this is like the end, like you just watched the final performance of this, region, and then they're gonna move on.
Okay,
Somebody
so
mentioned they're moving on tomorrow. Yeah.
Honestly, I think I'm probably just like quietly looking around, wandering, thinking about like letting what we just saw of the propaganda of us being called villains and portrayed this way just kind of sink in, and I'm just thinking deeply about it. Yeah. So anyway, I think kind of like wandering around.
Sure. And if you're kind of by the campfire area, I think Pyro and Toad and Blob are all sort of hanging out there, and maybe you hear Pyro like at the end of a story essentially, and then he fucking hit you in the face with ice, mate. Are you serious? Oh, here he is now. Look at this guy. Oh, come over here. What's your name?
Bruce.
Bruce. Those powers you have are wild. You can do any number of things, it seems, huh?
Yeah, I've got a few tricks up my sleeve.
Tricks up his sleeve, he says. You hear
warming up all right? Oh, look at Toad.
Toad is by the fire.
I was picturing him like in the block of ice, but I suppose it's
well, I
melting.
think because of what Kelsea did with melting it. So he's by the fire though.
This was extreme frostbite.
And as he's kind of warming up, it seems. And Blob, Freddy Dukes, kind of calls out. So you're from a different world, huh?
I guess you could say that, yeah.
You are we in that world?
Yeah, a version of you.
Hey, all right. You are we famous?
If I were to rank the most famous villains of our world, I'd say you'd probably be in the low, 30th percentile. You had your Silver Age, and then they took you out of the movies.
Whoa! But we were in the movies at one point.
Sure.
Ha ha! We were in movies, boys. They seem to be having a good time with you. So
something Bruce is not capable of having.
Yeah. Before we move on, I want to let's say that before Johnny went over to have this conversation with Asterio, maybe you had a chance to meet up with Natasha to help her with her bracelet. So do you want to go ahead and make that roll real quick? This would be essentially Elise, you're rolling. Johnny, you can gift her, or rather, I think Elise pays a plot point to you. I think Elise pays a plot point to you for you to use to give her one of your dice, essentially.
Yep, I think that's right.
One
Okay,
die.
I'll give you a D10 that is technology.
D10 tech die. Sweet.
Sure.
At least you
You're
have
muted.
Oh, and let me just say too, all of you take a plot point for those amazing scenes that you all just had. Yeah. Elise, you are
Elise,
muted,
you're
my
muted.
friend.
I knew it the whole time. Is it okay if I still roll buddy instead of team on this one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Awesome. All right, here I go.
Just the two of us.
No ones.
Yes.
Okay, she's turning it around.
And I rolled an 18 with a D10 effect.
Okay. I rolled a 1. And I got a 14. Okay. So you succeed. Fantastic. Your effect basically is just that you are reactivating your Widow's bracelet, so you can.
Excellent.
It is no longer shut down.
Woo!
But with that, do you want to go ahead and talk real quick about the upgrade that you wanted to make at the end of the act that we just finished?
Yes. So I was going to take Hawkeye's tech, and I was going to integrate it into my bracelets for a new what's it called?
A power trait.
Power trait in my
In your power set that is Widow's.
power set. A new power trait in my power set.
know,
So it's a D6 in my bracelet power set. So now I have a D8 for swing line, a D8 for electric blast, and a D6 for Hawkeye's tech.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And
Yeah.
Seriously
with
amazing.
the
Yes.
with the special effect, of course, coming along with that of trick shot. So essentially, what this means is that Johnny, you sort of help Nat integrate the Hawkeye tech into the bracelet as essentially allowing you to shoot like arrows out of your bracelet now. And they can be trick arrows essentially, so you can sort of flavor that how you wish in the future.
Yes,
Awesome.
but you could now. What if you could shoot arrows out of your bracelets? Essentially, they were like trick arrows. That's helping.
Wow, Johnny.
Repeating Justin as like it's my idea is my favorite.
Love it. It's so good.
It's my favorite.
Okay, so if there's nothing else anybody wants to do, I'm gonna jump back over to Kelsea. Okay. So, Kelsea, you fast forward again. In this moment. Oh, what's up?
Can I say that I get really close to him whenever I say I'm not done yet or whatever? Like I asked you a question, whatever I said that was cool.
Totally.
And I like get close to his cheek so he can like feel my cheek on his, and I say it in his ear, like really menacingly. Okay.
He steps back from you. He says, What did I do on V-Day? I didn't kill anybody. I followed orders. It's not that well, and then in that moment you are blindsided, all of you, by a vicious growl, and you hear the of the footsteps as he sort of turns and looks, and then poof, barreling into Mysterio. You watch the trench coat fly as Logan slams him into the ground, poof, and the just like punching him, no claws, just poof, poof, punching, punch, and everyone sort of like is shook from what they're doing. They kind of stand up. Blob sort of starts to go to try and like pull Logan off of Mysterio.
I put my arm up.
Blob sort of says, he's gonna kill him.
Let them work it out themselves. They're big boys.
Logan, what are you doing?
Yeah, all of you sort of come here. Mystique as well is sort of coming out. Logan is in like a berserker mode and cannot, does not seem to be responding to you, Rogue. It is pretty clear he is going to kill Mysterio.
Cool.
Unless any of you want to do something. It's up to you.
Telekinetic shield?
Literally, I can't see anything.
Okay, hang on.
I'll mention this too, Hollis. Danny watches Matt. You sort of can tell that Danny is watching, and almost like you can see her body sort of getting into it, like someone in the ring of a boxing match might watch, and sort of be like, yeah, get him right there, get him, kind of a that kind of a thing. Rebecca.
So Rogue is gonna try and cast telekinetic, kind of envelope, kind of bubble.
Okay.
Logan.
Okay.
Between the two, and I rolled an
Yeah. No. Go ahead.
I rolled an 18 with a D10.
Hey.
Nice.
That telekinetic that's got some kick.
Mm-hmm. Who? Yeah, I also got an 18. I'm not.
Logan. He's so strong.
Yeah, I'm gonna let it go though. Since you're the actor, I'm gonna say that you succeed on this as you bubble him off, and sort of have him in like a little containment bubble, essentially, as you're focusing really hard on these newfound powers. Mysterio is just like bloodied and beaten. He kind of like skirts away a little bit. He starts to like, he's like, get him off me! What?
Whose orders were you following?
What did you do?
Wolverine, inside of this field, he looks, again, the berserker mode is there, right? Like, he looks feral. He doesn't even, he's not looking at any of you. He's just sort of like,
Oh, I was talking to Mysterio.
no, I know.
Okay.
I'm just narrating this as Logan is sort of like trying to, and Mysterio is like staring at him on the ground, and he says, I wasn't. It wasn't my fault. I wasn't in my right mind. There was something else with me. There was... He reaches a hand out, and you see the mist start sort of coming out from his sleeve as the illusion sort of takes place. And once again, you find yourselves... This time, instead of just watching from the audience, it's almost like you're in the illusion itself. As you watch... you see the Xavier Institute, and you see that Logan is currently teaching a class, and he's got he's writing a chalkboard, and then there's a you see as something pierces his mind, and he's and he kind of falls to the ground. And you see the students all sort of stand up and go over to him, but it's all sort of like this, silent ringing in his mind, essentially, that blocks it all out. And you see the students all go out into the hallway, and it's sort of chaos all over, and it's just now that, from like, you know, watching Logan, you see like the flashers are going off in the hallway, and Logan calls out on his comm, trying to reach out. Gene, not Gene, because Gene's gone already. Sorry. Scott, Scott, Professor, where is everybody? And at that point, you hear screams as the children, as a wall caves in on the side of the thing, and you know, coming in, you see Doc Ock. These like metal arms coming in. Some of the kids scream. Some of them like run. Some of them try to fight and like use their powers to like blast away. But it's not, you know, Omega Red follows Doc Ock in. Just starts skewering these people, just killing them. Wolverine leaps into action and just starts defending these kids. You watch as he goes from villain to villain, working his way across the whole campus, just killing villains left and right, and finally makes it to like the I guess like the near like where the danger room would be, like where like sort of the control room for the X-Men, where they would meet and whatnot, and he makes it in there, where he sees Red Skull. Hang on, I need to just stick to my notes. Hang on. Where he sees Bullseye stab through the heart of Cyclops with a dagger. Wolverine loses it, leaps into action, and just skewers with his, you know, claws through Bullseye's skull. And it's over. And he seems in pain. He's wounded, he's hurting, but Wolverine is ultimately just confused as he reaches out in the comms again. I think I got the last one. Where are you? Where's everybody else? Scott's down. X-Men, where are you? And you watch the mist sort of fume from what you're watching into the scene itself, as you hear Mysterio's voice, almost echoing the way that he did before when you watched the show, but this time without any theatrical flair and with the utmost pain. Mysterio says, I wasn't in my right mind at the time. There was something else. Osborn, he told me all I had to do was make the illusions, but that I would need help, and that I wouldn't. They have the telepathic shielding. They're all trained, and there was an entity, a darkness he gave me. I accepted it. It made me more powerful. It allowed me to infiltrate a mind. I didn't need to do it for long, but And then he just breaks down crying, and you watch as the mist reveals what Logan really saw that day. As you watch again, he starts killing villain after villain. Doc Ock is Beast as he stabs through Hank McCoy. Omega Red is Gambit as he skewers his friends left and right until finally in the control room Scott comes to him scared. Logan, it's me. What are you doing? Stop this. And as he reaches Logan and just stabs Scott through the head. And the mist kind of comes back.
What's Logan doing right now?
You see the campfire. Logan has been pacified. Seeing all of this for himself, he looks completely docile and just in a state of complete shock. Mysterio is not much different. He's on the ground. He's sobbing hard. Mystique comes up next to you, Rogue, and just takes your hand.
I want to look at Rogue and say, let him make his own decisions for once in his life. Let him go.
And Rogue releases the bubble.
And Logan sort of just collapses to the ground. All of you just wait and watch as he stands up, no longer berserk, looking at you, Rogue, looking at Mysterio. He says, I did all that. I killed my friends.
It wasn't your fault.
Rogue, he looks to you again. He says, Can you kill me?
Logan,
he looks to you,
can't.
Banner. He says, please, can you kill me?
Probably.
And he gets on his knees. And he takes your hands. And he says, you can have the adamantium. You can go home. Please.
Wait. Everybody here right now. We have a choice we can make right now. But it's the choice that isn't fair to us unless we have your help, Logan. And it's not fair to you, and it's not fair to anybody else. We can't fix the past, but we can fix the future. Help us. Mysterio fucked up, but he's not the one that made the choices for you. We can stop the person that did it and make sure they never do something like this again. But we can't do it if you give up. We need all of you. And I look at every single person. I point at the Blob and Pyro and Raven and everybody. And we need your help. And if you're not with us, you're against us. And I look at Mysterio.
You have this rallying speech, Johnny, and it seems to ring through a lot of these people. Mystique just holds your hand tighter, Rogue. And she steps up and she says, I know. I will do everything I can to right those wrongs. It is our duty. And she looks around to Blob, to Pyro, to Toad. She says, we owe this to the world for what we did that day. And she looks to you, Rogue, and she says, for the people we hurt that day, we owe it to them. And then she gets cut off. Because as you all were so invested on this campfire scene, none of you were able to notice that something else was here as well. As Mystique goes to say her next words, looking into your eyes, Rogue, a blast of energy shoots through her body. Shooting through. Clearing the whole, like, into the woods. Trees breaking down. All of you turn and watch as floating, just barely above the ground, you see an outstretched hand, and you see a long, dark green cloak, and you see the mask of Dr. Doom, and you hear a voice say, "Murderers, all of you! Your punishment has come at the hands of Doom."
Oh.
And that's where we'll stop tonight's session.
Oh, fuck.
Oops.
Okay.
He wasn't including us in that, right?
Well,
on the side of my face.
He doesn't seem to... It seemed like he was there... Well, I won't... We'll find out next time. Whew. Great session
I would like
tonight,
to rage.
everybody. Great session. We'll be back. Come back and join us for the next chapter of this, oh my god, sad adventure. I gotta say, this episode was probably the most traumatic it's going to be. I think there was a lot, and I apologize if I blindsided any audience members with the talks of suicide and everything. It's a dark world in this world, and there's a reason that you all are here. So yeah, it does get less sad from here. Good call, Sumkey. I will say that.
You don't know. Get out.
I won't say it gets less sad. I'll just say I don't think it's going to be all compact in one episode like it was today.
Yeah, that's pretty intense.
Anyway, a lot of exposition, a lot of storylines and plot threads sort of coming together. So exciting stuff. We've got about only a handful of episodes left to tell this story. So I'm really excited to see what happens next. Come join us next week, same time. Don't forget to check out Spire. You Will Be Ashes on Monday nights. And we'll see you here again next week, next Tuesday. Till then, stay safe out there, and we love you. Bye.
Thanks for watching.